bum, 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 bum. It's the last one. Bum, 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 bum. On the 12th day of Child's Play, our Alex gave to me 12, boom, da boom, boom, but sta. 11 pickled peanut, 10 Chili's gift cards, 9 revolutions, 8 milking tables, 7 course attacking, 6, 5 strawberry shakes, bum, 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 bum. 4 Egan tulips, 3 Joe Rogans, 2 Subarus, and the pianist on DVD.
Yay! Almost 2 weeks in the making. It was so good. We loved it. Yay! He did all 12. He remembered them. And there was only, like, penises in a couple. Fuck. We said Joe Rogan's name too many times. Fuck him. Yay!
My son is here for the Christmas magic. Everybody say, hello, Adam's son.
Hi, hello. Adam's son.
Hello, my boy. I love you. Would you like to say something into the mic? Come here. Come say something. Here, we're gonna bring you down.
The miracle of Christmas. The first time we've pimped out Adam's boy for the podcast.
Yeah. Would you like to say something?
Hi.
Yeah. Would you like to say, keep on bopping?
Keep on bopping.
Awesome. Well, folks, we are here. It is the final day of the Child's Play Christmas.
It's Christmas.
It is Christmas. This will release on Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you and yours. Excited to be here.
We're glad that we could provide some refuge. I'm sure your uncle is drunk and you've had enough of your dad's bullshit. So thanks for hanging out with us for a few minutes while we make fun of their attitudes.
Yeah, but seriously, listener, you got to talk. You got to talk to the male side of your family because it's not going to get better unless you take it head on or you cut them out of your life completely. So just lock it in for 2025, and best of luck to you. Okay, we are doing a creative thing. We are here today to try to craft a new Christmas icon. We want a new mascot. We want a new figurehead that you can celebrate on Christmas. We're trying to make lore, goddammit.
Yeah, nothing says Christmas Day like the hubris of two idiots trying to reinvent it. Or I guess add to it. We don't want to change the wheel, right? We just need we need fresh meat, right? Rudolph's had it too good for too long. Frosty,
good.
They tried to make Frosty a hot guy from Schitt's Creek, and it was like, meh. Are you aware of Hot Frosty?
I've seen the title on Netflix, and I gleaned enough from just the title that I was
You're good.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yep.
That's all you need. Like, Frosty comes to life, and he's a real guy, and he's hot. And he has a terrible wig, and at the end of the movie, everyone knows he's a snowman but sentient, and the girl, looks at them and is like, you guys are cool with this? And they literally look at him and go, yeah, it's Christmas. And that's the movie.
Brilliant. All right, no notes. So,
yeah,
a new Christmas icon.
I guess
you want to what?
I was just gonna say, let's just look back for a moment. Let's look at who we're trying to emulate here. This is not no small feat, right? I'd say the most. I'm trying to think of the most recent actual crisp character introduction. Is it Buddy?
It's either Buddy or Elf on the Shelf is pretty recent too.
Elf on the Shelf's I don't think as recent as you think.
Are you really?
Yeah, I need to know when Elf on the Shelf was. I think it's 90s, but I might be wrong. And definitely the internet, right? The internet
Internet is telling me Elf on the Shelf, it was 2005.
Oh, all right then. They fucking sold it as a Christmas tradition, right?
Right.
in 2005. It's the name of the 2005 American Picture Book for Children. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, good job. They convinced me easily that it was like retro, that it was something, and the way that they built the thing. So, all right,
It's the
Elf on a
aesthetic,
Shelf.
yeah.
Elf on a Shelf. So, guys, so that's
Buddy beats him
probably
by-
the most
yeah.
recent because Elf is like 02, something like that.
2003.
Okay. And then like before that, we've got Jack Skellington, right, is whether or not you feel that is, and then John McClane. But like the big ones, right, are all from a way back in the day, right? Like Rudolph.
100 years ago at this point.
Rudolph is, I think, almost 100 years old. Yeah, which is wild. And then like the Grinch, right? God, how old's the Grinch? Are you kidding?
He's like 75 at this point.
That sounds right. The Grinch. So like I'm trying to think, or then Frosty. When was Frosty? Wow. You want to take a guess? Just throw a guess out for when Frosty the Snowman was made.
Invented? 1911.
1969. Like was when the movie came out. Yeah. I mean, it's Frosty the Snowman, and that's like, yep, 69. I think, yep. Rankin Bass, 69. Totally, just OG TV special made in 1969. We don't have the like yearly specials anymore, right? So this is what we're after, right? And then the Grinch. I do want to like get a Grinch date so that we know what's up.
I think it's like 52 or 53, maybe 54.
Look at you. 1957 was when the book came out.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Like,
which means the Grinch was born canonically in 1904 because in the book he says he's 53.
Oh, interesting. Wow. The Grinch, no wonder he's so angry. He saw some shit, huh?
He went through the Depression and 2 World Wars.
Yeah, that's really, I'd hang out at the top of Mount Crumpet, too. I've had enough with my no genitalia and pot belly. Yeah, man, so, like, that's it. Like, it's tough, right? So that's in the last, like, 100 years, 4 or 5 good ones. Are we missing any big? Then you have to go back to like Krampus, and you have to go back like the all the like Rankin Bass various like people. But I'd say the big ones that we're talking about here are like Grinch, Frosty, Rudolph, and I mean,
that's the holy trinity right
that's
there.
It,
in terms
right?
Of
They're
Christmas
the ones
icons.
They keep getting done over and over again. And you've kind of got there's the like triumvirate there too, right? The Grinch is the like bad guy. That's a Krampusy figure, and then like Frosty is like brought to life by Christmas magic, and he's ephemeral, very Ghost of Christmas Present, right?
Mm-hmm. True neutral is Frosty. On
yeah,
the
absolutely.
chart.
He's there, he exists, and he's like magic, and then he is gone. And like you have to be okay with that. Very ephemeral, very come in and know me better, man. Also, those are the other ones. There's our other fucking Scrooge, right? And that's you've got to go back. That's goddamn Charles Dickens. So we're about to go right at Dickens to try and like, and then Rudolph is like the servant, right? Plus ugly duckling sort of vibes, right? Of like, nobody wanted me, and then through the magic of Christmas. So that you get like real Christ child shit there, right? You get real like there's no room in the inn vibes, but we need you now, and now you're important. You were left out in the cold, and where you like became who you were, and now you're back. So yeah.
So we've established what we're up against.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So now that we know it's an obscenely hard task, let's try to set about and do it. I think that we have to get conceptual first, and then we can narrow down to the figure.
Must go wide.
We got to go wide. So I'm thinking things about Christmas that don't get celebrated enough, or an element of Christmas that I think we should have a figure for. And you kind of already touched on some. You've got like the Grinch with the evil side of Christmas. You got the ephemeral ghost. You've got the servant, the ugly duckling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Part of me really wants a figurehead for Christmas consumerism. Perhaps. All right. Because that is such a heavy element. Yeah, Santa's arguable.
Yeah.
Santa, true. Yes, Santa is, but I think Santa's Santa's higher calling rather than consumerism, because he's just the bearer, right? He does make them.
That's
and
true.
He is the bearer of the gifts, but he is also the judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah,
and so
that's
he is
true.
the panopticon that looks over us all
Yeah,
as we sleep and as we wake.
Yeah, you want to figure that like more. So what we want is less a analog for like God and more an analog for like us at Christmas time. We want something that represents what the Christmas spirit can do to me, a sad human being.
Potentially,
because that is the Grinch.
It doesn't
right?
have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be consumerism though. It could be. It could be some other element of Christmas.
Sure. I mean, you've also got the Gift of the Magi, right? Is like technically a like consumerism sacrifice Christmas tale. You're familiar, yes? The Gift of the Magi? Oh, it's the lady. They're like, there's like two poor people, and she cuts off her hair to sell it and buy him a watch band, and he sells his watch to buy her combs.
And
for
he cuts
her hair.
off his hand to get her a comb.
yeah. And he pickles his penis, and yeah. So there's that.
She works long hours at the milking table just to pay.
But doctor, I am the milking table. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but I do like the idea that like I think that's a great place to start for us, right? Like the idea that like now it's 2020 God motherfucking 4. So like we are inundated by like Black Fridays and like shopping and like they're is there a way for us to like use that sort of idea, right? Where it's like, okay, it's consumerism and it starts out hollow and bad and terrible, but then is the magic of this figure is that they like transform that into something, into the magic, right? It's the believe on the side of Macy's, right? It's the like, you know, this is the Miracle on 34th Street Santa is, and you said you haven't seen either of those. That's very much a like, it is fucking a Macy's ad, man. The movie is a Macy's ad, and it's very like, the whole gimmick is that Macy's will like send you somewhere else to get the thing that they don't have. And people are like, oh my God, you're a store that's not all about profit at Christmas time. This is amazing. I'll only shop at your place. So it turns out that anti-consumerism is the best fucking ad campaign ever.
All right. So we're
starting
with a feeling of emptiness, empty goods.
Yeah.
Material things. But
yeah.
Through the magic of Christmas, they become great material goods.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
you
but
at
that's
least remember
also
what they're there for.
You know, I mean, that's the Grinch, like, fucking takes all of Christmas and is like, fuck this shit, and then realizes, of course, that it's not the shit, right? It's the joy. And, like, even Rudolph, like, is like, it's being needed? I don't know, man. The Rudolph story really fucks with me, like, the more and more I look at it.
So initial feelings. See, this one's too close to Frosty, but I imagine instead of like a Frosty figure, it's like a slush golem, and it's all the dirtiest snow. It's kind of this amorphous blob. But we already have a snow-based figure.
Yeah. Well, you've said the word that I was gonna say earlier, and like Christmas golem is a really good one, right? Like, what is? And like that's, you know, a figure that appears horrifying but is in fact wonderful, like some sort of like candy golem or like feast like food like creature. I don't know.
Okay. A golem, a consumerist golem.
Yes.
I know, right? That's the problem. Is it sounds a lot like...
but that's what he is. Like that's what Gollum is. Like that's like he is the like I need the thing. My Prime delivery. Yes, my precious 2-day delivery.
Packages every day on my doorstep.
Every day, yes.
How do they make it happen?
Yeah, I likes my consumerism wriggling and raw. Yeah. Okay. I mean, these are the concepts, right? It turns out that they're all the same. It's like the idea is you're empty, you love money, You don't give a shit. And this is what Dickens did for Christmas. This is like what Dickens did for Christmas. Like Christmas was just kind of a rowdy party in the middle of winter until he wrote A Christmas Carol, and it became, he like fucking made Christmas about like charity and goodwill and loving your fellow man. And also because we're here and it needs to be said, Bob Cratchit was being paid more than the current minimum wage in the United States, adjusted for inflation. What the fuck? The most famous miser in history was paying the worst paid man in fiction more than we're paying people who are making us hamburgers. So fix it.
Incredible.
Anyway.
Okay. So I like where we're at right now.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if maybe we have this monstrosity and it can't even move. It just kind of like schlorps all over, and it's a mix of things. It's like rotten food and candy covered in hair, and maybe like wooden blocks of toys, pieces of toys. And it just kind of like falls over itself, kind of like a skinwalker taking on skin for the first time and trying to figure out the human form.
What if it's all the trash from last Christmas that's been
that's good.
That's been
very
like
good.
Yeah,
so
it's like
this thing's a leviathan.
Yeah, just the leftover monster, right? Like it's the wrapping paper. It's all of the discarded trappings from last Christmas that like have no magic left in them.
Yes.
And then
every Christmas, like Godzilla, it rises from the sea.
But no, but something has to bring it. Like, how do we bring this thing to life? So like, we need the hat. We need Frosty's hat or something to like, we need something that like, so like it's sentient, right? And it's just like a pile of nothing. So now we're getting into Velveteen Rabbit magic and shit too. We're like, a child must believe in this thing. Now we need the need element, right?
I think I might have it. And you let me know if you're cool with this. So this character, who doesn't have a name yet, is a threat. And
yes. Now we've got the Grinch element too.
Yes. And it comes forth as soon as somebody remembers that it exists each Christmas. But it's always somebody's going to think of it first. And then it rises from the sea and starts making its way to land. And until enough people get their hearts right about Christmas, it will reach land.
Okay, so what we've done now is we've combined the plot of Elf with the fucking Pacific Garbage Island. Yeah. We've made fucking Godzilla the Elf. But I mean I kind of love it. That's like we're into like we're combating the idea of consumerism, right? Because we need we need something to do, because every year there's all this leftover crap, right? It's like the anti-Grinch, like where the Grinch steals all the crap and then they realize they don't need the crap. And it's like, this is the crap that we produce in order to make joy one year is like there's like runoff. Okay. So it's in the sea. I think, okay, here we go. So like, I think to your point, what's going to happen is that like, there's a young environmentalist Childz. I think it should be a girl, and I don't know, I'm not 100% why. I think it's the like Cindy Lou Who of it all, and the like, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus of it all, and also the Greta Thunberg of it all, is that like, I think it's like a young activist is like, but what about the waste? And as soon as that happens, the waste gains sentience and starts like coming up out of the sea, and making its way toward her, right? Like it's summoned by the awareness of it's summoned by like someone's, because it is love, right? Like what they're worried about is like consumerism. What the child's worried about is, the child activist is worried about consumerism. And they summon the trash kaiju from all of last Christmases. And it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like turkey bones and like wrapping paper and like melted. It's like molten candy in its joints. And it's just, and it's, like a big, horrible, like its teeth are even like, oh God, sharpened candy canes.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of something about like wrapping paper and like a like Charlie Brown looking Christmas tree like sticking out of its head and tilted in like a sort of like an absolute perversion of the Santa Claus hat, right? Like there's just a triangular tree sticking out of its head and it's cracked over the top and there's an angel like dangling from it. Yes. I think it comes out of the Gulf Coast too. I don't know why, because we just the absolute hell that we've put on that body of water as consumers.
Okay. So now now the trash we get, and we're gonna have to give this a name at some point. But the trash kaiju wants this one individual, and it needs to be. I want there to be. I think what I want now is when we've succeeded.
Yeah.
When humanity has done whatever it needs to do, the trash figure I think should metamorphise into something new.
Yeah, recycling man.
There you go.
It turns okay. What's gonna happen is that like essentially through the love of Christmas, as humanity realizes that the only way to kill this thing, right? Because like as it's making its way through, no, it can't come from the Gulf. It has to come from either the Pacific or the Atlantic, because it's got to start coming inland. And how we're gonna get the like hallmark movie of it all is this is going to be a child in like let's call it St. Louis, like a child in the Midwest, in the very like middle of the country, so that as this thing is making its way, it's like not destroying, but people keep trying to kill it, right? We call it the National Guard, and then like there's a thing where like the president is like, fucking nuke it, we've got to save Christmas, this thing's gonna destroy Christmas, we gotta blow it up. And so like also I think the young activist probably is like dealing with like a broken home, right? Like to get
of course. Absolutely.
You know, there's a new stepdad is like not into recycling, like he's gross and
the
bad.
environment.
He's a fucking super right wing asswipe, and like her formerly hippie mom is getting like sucked into like. And like he gets embroiled in he gets embroiled in like a neighborhood competition to out decorate everybody. So they're just adding trash and garbage and like blow ups and stuff, and it gets way blown out of hand. And she's like, "Dad, the power bill," and he's like, "Shut up."
So now at this point, Trash Kaiju has reached St. Louis.
Yeah.
And has acquired mass because it's full of bullets and a nuclear warhead.
Oh, it's just absorbing everything.
And like Katamari Damacy, it's full. And this thing, again, is Leviathan sized.
It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The more that we try to, and it's also like every once in a while it'll like step on a Christmas tree, display and just eat that up, right? It's just like it's like stealing Christmas as it goes, because that's what powers it. It's siphoning off little bits of Christmas love. So as we shoot it with like hate, it has to like absorb. So we think it's trying to steal Christmas. We think it's here to kill Christmas.
Right. Okay. So then Greta, I'm just calling her Greta now, meets the Trash Kaiju.
Yeah, Greta Thunderhead. That's her name.
Greta at the edge of St. Louis, I guess, wherever St. Louis ends.
Are you kidding? It's under the fucking arch. We've got a set piece. Like, it's just there.
And I think the only way that this can resolve is that Greta, in an act of sacrifice, offers herself up to the beast.
Good. We've got a Greek myth now.
As kind of an act of showing true love on Christmas for your fellow man in the face of rampant consumerism. And she dies.
She understands. You think she actually is going to die?
Well, I mean, it's not a sacrifice if she doesn't die.
That's true, but I think we should Neo this shit. She has to have nothing left to lose at some point. Or no, actually we shouldn't. This is my big problem with a lot of like when we see a savior in films, they have nothing left to lose. And I'm a big fan of like, she's just like, she realizes, okay, there has to be, at some point where she's like dealing with her shitty family and watching the news and this thing is coming, she's got to realize that she's like, oh, I know what it needs. It needs someone to understand it. And like, it absorbs her, right? It hasn't absorbed any person yet, right? It's managed to like, this is this weird thing, right? There's no death toll. We just think it's killing Christmas, and it's somehow it like managed to not kill anybody on its way to St. Louis. But like, he looks at her, and because she's a true believer, she already knows that Christmas, she's been saying it the whole time. This isn't what Christmas is about. Christmas is about time. Let's spend time together. Let's give each other time. We don't need all this stuff. And so since she's the biggest battery of Christmas, it eats her. Right? Like, there's your sacrifice. And she just goes to see it. And, like, you know, there's this great standoff. The fucking National Guard's there. And they're like, let me through. And her actual biological dad works for the CIA or some shit. So he can, like, no! get her through the line. He can get her through the line, and like he believes her because he's old and grizzled, and he was working too hard, and that's why his mom divorced him. She's like, you're married to your job. And so he can get her through the line, and we have this wonderful moment under the thing of like tiny little Greta Thunderhead looking up at the giant Christmas kaiju underneath the arch, and he like leans down, and she's like, I see you. And he just fucking eats her. And everybody's like, what? No! And then we're going to get like a Beauty and the Beast level transformation, right?
Yeah, okay. So maybe it's... All right. So, Eaton. The kaiju starts to shrink.
Everybody's watching on TV. We're losing our minds. People are crying. Yes.
Pieces are coming in. Pieces are falling off. Some are just shooting off into the sky and not coming down. But this thing is losing mass.
Yes.
And suddenly, there's a human figure once again.
Yes.
It looks like Greta Thunderhead.
Yes.
But she doesn't have regular skin. Her skin is red and green, and it's all mixing around like a lava lamp. And the CIA dad calls out, Greta! And this figure says, I am Greta no more. It is I, and now we need a name.
Yeah.
Because this is
Captain
the kaiju
Christmas
has transformed.
Captain Christmas.
By the power of Christmas, Captain Christmas has come forth once again.
Captain Christmas. And now every year Captain Christmas goes around like making sure that people don't get too caught up in the stuff that they need, and can just like absorb garbage. And so like they feed Captain Christmas every year, like eats the like leftovers of all the joy that we give each other, and it's a lesson about recycling.
Perfect. It only took us 20 to 30 minutes to come up with fucking Captain Planet again.
I know.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
Just made Captain Christmas. Oh my fucking God. Oh, that's so good. I would watch the shit out of that movie. Oh my God.
I would love to see the creature design, the visual effects on the kaiju.
Oh yeah. In my head it looks like Clayface from Batman the Animated Series, but like Christmas goo and Gollum,
Christmas
and like
themed.
Yeah, and it's coming. I love that. Oh, I love it. She just gets absorbed, and like there she is. Yeah, we've got half Captain Planet, half like Vision, right? Essentially, like she is everybody's like innate Christmas knowledge that like it's not the stuff.
Yeah.
Captain Christmas. Hell yeah, man.
Captain
there you
Christmas.
go.
And I think that one's going straight to the top.
Yeah.
I think you listeners are going to be talking about Captain Christmas very soon with all your friends and family
for a very long time. Yes, right now, run downstairs and tell your drunk uncle the good news of Captain Christmas.
Did you hear what Greta did?
Did you hear what Greta did? Absorbed the man, all the horrid man, and the crap that we throw in the sea. And Captain Christmas recycles for you and me. Bum, 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 bum. I'm so happy with that. Like, that's not what I thought we were going to do at all. It's fucking
absolutely
great.
Not, but it could only be... It could only be here on Child's Play.
Holy shit.
The world's podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for sitting with us for 12 days of joy and laughter and delight. I wish all of you a happy new year, a happy holiday season. Much love to you all. And in the meantime, keep on
bopping.
bopping. And please, for the love of God, put the recycling out.
Captain Christmas will get you.